It's there we go. Hey everybody, it's Always Booking Comedy. It's Monday night. It's Mark Masters. We got Luke Severeid.
Severeid.
Severeid. I
Yeah.
had a 20% chance. So a lot of ways you could probably say that.
Mhm.
I'm sure you've heard a lot of different varieties. Severeid. What's it like
Mhm.
having a name in comedy that is a challenge to pronounce?
It's always said wrong, and then I haven't figured out an effective way to tell people beforehand or correct them without it just being a full stop in a conversation. So if only I was someone who tried to have a vocation that is creativity based, I would have been able to solve this problem by now.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
So if you get pulled up onto stage and the host says it wrong, do you address it or do you just
No,
plow through?
no, because I've hosted plenty of things and said names wrong, and as
Yeah.
soon as someone starts off, you're like, "It's actually," and you're like, "Oh yeah, dude." Like,
Yeah. That you want to be likable more than anything else when you get on stage. I mean, funny is important, but if you're likable, people will laugh at things, and it's real easy to turn people off
totally. Which is
when you
also the
correct the
bummer
host.
when
Yeah.
some because most people mispronounce it the same way. It's usually Severeid because that's just how it's read,
Yeah.
like conventionally. And I'm like, someone's like, "Hey, it's Luke Severeid." I'm like, "That, yeah, hi."
Nice. Nice. Yeah, I was hosting this weekend in a club and they had a guest spot drop in. And on the second show, I just completely forgot his name. And then I had a panic and I remembered his first name, but I couldn't remember his last name. And I was just like, and I just said, like, here comes the stage, my best friend. And then I'm like, Drew. It was awkward to say the least, but he did a good job laughing about it. And he was like self-deprecating about it. He was like, it doesn't matter. Here comes some jokes.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah,
Also, every comic's dealt with that at some point in time where you're just like, "Yep, names are hard."
yeah, exactly. So you at some point soon or recently were in Australia or New Zealand or what's going on with
Well,
that? Are you
that
there
okay.
now?
I'm not there right now.
Okay.
I'm in the States right now. That tour the can got kicked down the road, but I was
Oh,
there last year and we were going to do a second round. But
the
I don't know if you've
koalas revolted.
yeah, well, they're pretty tame. I think it was other things at play, a couple pay grades above the koalas that have
Okay.
been causing some issues. But that's still in the works. Hopefully by the end of the year, and if not the end of the year, it'll be early next year. I'll be going back out there again.
That's amazing. So I mean, other than like an open mic in Canada, I haven't done anything international. How does that come together and what is it like?
Oh, like I mean, I can only speak on like this one, and it's a
Mhm.
very unique situation, but I assume most of them are. Basically, the my internet following, slowly got bigger and bigger until at independently, two different people tied to Knotfest, which is a company that Slipknot owns, that kind of runs a bunch of like touring and stuff like that, and it's kind of like a media conglomerate that's all things heavy metal music, which is a lot of my online following is tied to people that like heavy metal music, and then a bunch of people at what would they be called? Like a production company of sorts out in Australia called Destroy All Lines. They hit me up and we're like, "Hey, we're doing Knotfest out here, but we think you could pair well with them because you're the overlap of like stand-up comedy and heavy metal music, and we think we could tie that together. We know that we'll be working with Knotfest. We can talk to them." I'm like, I already know those people, so like we just work together, and then it just kind of paired together pretty well. So I was like tied to the festival. I was like a sideshow, got and booked it like a regular show where you're like in actual comedy clubs or music venues that aren't like as huge as like an outdoor festival, but it was like all under that umbrella, and then traveled out there and told some jokes in Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane, and it was great. It's
Did
crazy,
you
but it
get
was
to do
great.
touristy stuff too at all?
Didn't have enough time, and the one full day I had off was the day that my body decided to crash out. So I could have seen some koalas, but I was like, I need to sleep. I think this is the jet lag thing happening.
Yeah. Yeah, that's great. It's like time travel going all the way to Australia.
Yeah. Well, it takes like a full day of travel just to get out there, and then you're 17 hours in the future.
Yeah. Have
It's
you
crazy.
opened for Slipknot? Like been shared the same stage? No.
No, 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 no. It was definitely not like that. It was because the way that festival was set up is that they had two stages side by side, and so bands would just play back and forth. So like in between acts, it's like literally 90 seconds.
Oh,
So
okay. So you're kind of like an event host.
no. So I
Oh,
wasn't okay. Those were the individual days of the festival. There were side
okay.
shows where a lot of the bands, because it's so hard to travel out there in the first place. A lot of the bands are headliners in their own right, but they're not the headliners of the festival. They would have off nights in those markets, and then do a different venue that's like, say, an 800 cap room, and they
Okay.
would play those, and then have some other local bands or other people that are on the lineup doing that. I was like doing a variation of that. I would not want to try to tell my little jokes in between bands on a festival that has like 20,000 people there.
Yeah. Yeah. That'd be weird. I saw there was Trevor, I forget his last name, does that for the chain smokers. And I saw him do like, 2 minutes of comedy between bands, and it was weird.
Yeah.
It was not like a comedy club, but still fun, to get to hang out with a band and be backstage, and seems kind of neat. But
Oh yeah, it's cool. I mean, I got the backstage pass and all that stuff. I got to be side stage for a lot of it. That was very fun to be able to just like have a lanyard that's like artists, and then you just walk around wherever. And you're like, all right, this is surreal.
yeah,
Uh, yeah, it was also just kind of crazy because I'm like, oh, I'm not like everyone here is Australian or works. This is what they do, and I'm just kind of like, who's a normal that knows me that I can be like, what the fuck is going on? Like, because it was surreal.
yeah, that's pretty neat. That's cool. Have you been to any other countries to do comedy?
Just Canada a little bit, here and there. I've been, yeah, Vancouver, Edmonton. Where else?
Canada's
A
not too
couple other
far
stuff.
because you're based in
No,
Washington,
I'm,
right?
yeah, I'm in Washington. I'm actually going to be in Vancouver June 6th. Yeah,
June
Vancouver,
6th,
BC.
everybody. Check
Yeah,
them out.
let's
What's
go
going on June 6th?
to.
Oh, June 6th is the GoPro Mountain Games up in Vail. We're doing 2 shows, everybody.
Ooh,
VailComedyShow.com. Clean one and a dirty one. But we never call the clean one clean. It's like I'm really struggling with how to market that. The dirty one, you market it dirty. Everybody wants to go to a
yeah.
dirty show. But people, I don't know. It's hard to
Well,
market clean comedy. I don't know what the trick
yeah,
is. I haven't
yeah.
figured it out.
Well, I think they just call it Christian comedy.
Well, see, that's the problem. Like a lot of people are turned off by that. Some people are excited about that, but it's like a minority. Uh, so, I mean, there are people who, there are situations where like you're with your in-laws or whatever the scenario is. You're there with your nephews, who are adults. They're not children, but you want to go to a comedy show, but you also don't want to hear a 3-minute bit about oral sex or whatever in front of family members. So, uh, there's a market for clean comedy that isn't called clean comedy. It's like non-offensive comedy.
Yeah, but even that, I mean, it's I don't know. I'm kind of the mind that like I understand the desire to market that, but I'm also just like, what is it? Family friendly? I mean, that's the closest I can think of. I
Yeah,
also think that's weird.
family friendly is actually what we landed on. It's family friendly, but 14 plus. Because the problem with family friendly to me is it implies, oh, I'll bring a 5-year-old.
Mm,
Like a pool is family friendly. Like a McDonald's play place is family friendly. But yes, I understand exactly where your head is at. Because like the family are adults. Like you want to bring, your grandma and your in-law and your uncle or whatever. Yeah, whatever. Anyways, let's talk. Did you start comedy in Seattle?
yeah, I was more. I don't know if you know the Washington area, but it was
Yeah.
more Tacoma area,
Okay. Yeah.
just because I was closer to where I lived at the time, and Seattle's a little bit of a hike. But yeah, it was mostly, but the greater Puget Sound area is where I stomped around for the first decade or so.
Yeah. Was Tacoma Comedy Club there way back
Mhm.
then? Okay.
Yep, yep. They'd open
Was it a
up.
brick business way back then, or did that come later?
What do you mean brick? Like
Isn't that the parent company of? Uh,
bark?
oh, Bark. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know when that formed. I would assume it wasn't right at the get-go. No, I know it wasn't right at the get-go. They were at one location, and then they found the downtown location. And then honestly, I think the first open mic I ever did there was the second open mic I ever did anywhere. and that was I think they'd just opened that location maybe 3 or 4 months prior to me starting.
Okay.
So I showed up pretty soon after that spot was open.
Nice. That's
Yeah.
awesome. Do you work? I assume you headline the small room. Do you headline the big room ever?
Yeah, actually this Sunday.
Ha,
uh,
nice. Awesome.
6 p.m. show. And I've headlined it 2 or 3 times before. I think the first time was like March 23rd, 2019.
Oh, just,
Um,
you know, more or less that exact date.
I mean, I'm not good at remembering a lot of dates, but March is pretty good at memorizing that just because that's also the month like I started stand-up comedy. It was like March 26th, 2012. And then this one, that was the like, that's me headlining my home club and for the very first time. And I think a buddy was there and he recorded, the audio and a video of it, and it was just a really good set. And we ended up making it like an album, but like, an album that I didn't plan to be an album. It was just a good set. So, put it out there and then give it a little bit of time and you go back and listen to it and go, nah, these jokes aren't done.
That's hilarious. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So so this Australia thing got kicked down the road. What do you do when a gig falls through like that? Is your go-to to, like, I don't know, work locally, or do you look for new travel gigs, or how do you open up your calendar, and what's your approach to that?
Well, yeah, it's usually just going, all right, it was frustrating because the woman who worked there who was setting it up ended up not working there anymore, but didn't convey that to me. So I was just kind of out of the
Uh,
loop until like a bit later until I reached out to other people and they were like, "Oh yeah, she was supposed to talk to you." And I was like, "Well, she didn't. So what are we doing?"
well, at least you didn't get there.
Yeah,
Like,
there would have been a lot of I think there would have been a lot of steps warning me along the way to that destination, but I agree. But yeah, I mean this I was just in St. Louis and Omaha last weekend. I have some local work this weekend, some local headlining work, and then the rest of the month is off, kind of doing some vacation things. Because I also have a birthday next week, so trying to be a relaxed human to some extent.
yeah,
Uh, but also it
hard
was
for
frustrating
comics.
because yeah, well, I mean, especially if I mean, your job is to be the sort of the entertainment, and that seems inherently fun and stuff like that. But to like actually relax, it's doesn't happen as easily as you like it to. And also, if you're a one man band. If you're not working, the work's not getting worked on.
Yeah,
So yeah.
yeah. What do you think's the, like, if you took a couple weeks off, where would the wheels start falling off the Luke engine?
Like in my career or my
Yeah, or just like, yeah, in your comedy career, like where would the cracks first be visible if you just completely stopped doing anything?
Uh, I think it would be my calendar not filling up months out. Um, but yeah, I don't know. That's kind of hard to nail down because it's like there's so many different things and they're all interconnected.
Yeah,
I don't think I'm necessarily like the best stand-up ever, but I usually can take some time off and still be relatively competent on stage. Like I just don't feel like I'm gonna lose it if I'm not on there for like 2 weeks. I'll be like, I was rusty, but fucking whatever.
yeah,
Um, but it is the I don't know because also I've been working on a bunch of other projects and I've barely like edited my own videos to like upload to Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. Or YouTube. I've been pretty behind schedule on that. That's been frustrating, but it's like there's too many jobs to do. Like, and
yeah.
then you can't
Wear a lot of
I
hats.
wear a lot of hats. But yeah, I think it would just be the calendar if I just slacked entirely. And honestly, I'd love to get to the point where I'm looking at calendars that are in front of me. That's why I'm staring upwards. Uh,
How far
is
out do they
that
go? You got a 12 month?
uh no, I'm not that organized yet, but I would love to. I would love to be able to lay that out because then every video that I make and put out there is going to have the date, like the cities that I'm in, and those will just be around for a while. And if someone finds it today or a week or 3 months from now, it'd be like, well, the show's in October,
Yeah,
so yeah.
yeah. Make a
What
note.
about you? What if where are the
I
cracks
think
going to be with
calendar
you
was a great
stopping?
answer. I think getting rusty on stage was actually one that I wouldn't have even thought of, but of course I've experienced that. You take 10 days off and then you go do a gig, and it's definitely like, I mean, it's not like riding a bicycle where you remember forever. And I think for me, it's mostly like a memory thing. Like when I'm my sharpest is when I perform like 10 nights in a row. And it's mostly because I have, I don't know, an hour to 2 hours of jokes rattling around in my head at any given time. When I've done 10 nights in a row, I've probably told them all within that 10 nights. So when I'm on stage and somebody's from Montana, or somebody's into heavy metal, or somebody's, a cook at a restaurant, like all of a sudden, okay, that joke, I just told it like 4 nights ago. It's ready. Here I go. It sounds natural. I'm quick. So that would definitely be a challenge. I mean, obviously, like I do a lot of this kind of stuff, like podcasting, and so like that stuff would just fall apart. If I completely took off. I mean, even when I take a week off, I still got to pop on Monday night for half an hour and do this. I've been doing this for like 3 years every Monday night. I don't think I about once or twice a year I'll pre-tape an episode, usually around Christmas or New Year's, but it's kind of rare. So that would be a challenge. I think the other thing, like, so once your calendar starts drying up, there's like a secondary effect that people forget you. So it's going to be harder when I get back. Like I'd say that the biggest thing that would happen is the difficulty level of booking fresh gigs increases. The longer I'm away, people just forget about me, and that's a real hazard of taking time off. It's kind of annoying that you got to constantly be like, show up at your home club. You got to, be in touch with national bookers. You got to, it's a rat race. You can't get
and
off the
then
treadmill for very long.
Also, it's the add on to that list of things you're listing off is the online platforms. If you're not feeding the content consuming beast,
The algorithms,
the algorithm, you dip and you dip and you dip. And I haven't been doing a great job because I've been working on some other stuff, but it's still just like, all right, I need to make a thing, and you're just like, all right, Mark Zuckerberg needs sacrifices for his altar. I hope he pays me an exposure.
Now, on the flip side, a fun counter question would be, what benefit would you get? And I would say I would have great new material, because that's the whole thing. You go live life, you go have fun, you kind of like you relax your head a little bit, and all of a sudden, like, it's not going to be instantaneous, but just someday at a coffee shop or on a walk or a jog or something, I'm going to come up with like 6 jokes out of nowhere. And so that's exciting when you take time off to have some material.
I just think I'm too neurotic to actually let myself relax until the boulder has been like, I've pushed enough momentum into the boulder that it can roll for a day or so without me.
Sisyphus. I love it.
Yeah, dude. Can't be skipping leg day.
Yeah, exactly. All right. This is fun, man. Is there a state you haven't been to that you'd like to get to, or like a club or specific show?
I don't know if there's any. There's a lot of East Coast states that I haven't really been to. Connecticut, just because I know there's a lot of metalheads out there, and I just haven't. I know that there's a good chunk of them out there. I'm trying to think. I've heard Portland, Maine is good.
Pause that answer for a second. On the metal front, when you go to wherever you go to Chicago and you do a show, are you going to a metal show after your comedy show? Like, how do you consume live music? And are you able to integrate it with your comedy travel?
I'm trying to do that more. That's kind of made it. It hasn't been a priority just because I'm, not the best planner, and it's really just it's all in service of the show. And you're trying to make a run of shows, so you try to fill up every night of a thing. I think when I have a little bit more breathing room, which I do have now, it's just it's just hard to plan out like a run of shows and then be like, and then this night I don't have a show, I'm going to a show.
Nice.
It's kind of hard to justify that when you're like, I'm going to go watch people be the center of attention instead of me being the center of attention and making money.
And spending money. You're also spending money.
Yeah, well, Live Nation, they need their cut.
Yeah.
They've been hurting lately. I'm. Can you tell I'm mad? uh, but I haven't done that enough. But I mean, recently I've been to Dallas a little bit and checked out some live shows while I'm there, or being up here in Washington, being able to see a couple shows because I'm on my home turf. It's just I think it's a little bit harder to do that on the road just because you're already spending money to go out to a place to then spend more money at a place unless going on a date or doing something like
Yeah, it's
it's
the
just
like the lodging that kills you,
yeah.
or if you have a rental car or whatever, just staying for a whole extra day is pretty brutal. So you said Connecticut as a place that you'd like to visit because there's a lot of metal there. Is there a
Yeah.
club or a room in the country that you're real psyched
I
to get to?
mean, it'd be cool to do the Comedy Works in Denver. I hear is fantastic.
Yeah.
I think, aren't you out there?
I'm in
No,
Denver. Yeah.
yeah. I'm actually going to be in Denver in a handful of weeks. But
Oh,
I know that's a good club, very fun club to play. But I don't know. I don't really. I mean, the Comedy Cellar, of course, is where everyone would like to. But I'm
yeah.
also
Have you
like,
been there to watch comedy?
no, I haven't. No. I've done some shows in Manhattan, but I've gone to like the Grizzly Pear, Midtown, and self-produced shows there,
Well, that's
and
right there.
moved some tickets pretty well. And then each time I'm done with the show, I'm like a space case, and then don't swing by. But I really should just go catch a show. It just is hard to have the desire to like sit in a comedy like just and be like, well, oh, I'm not going to be in the back of the room and get up and be able to move. I don't know if I like that.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say the one place in the country where I'm not uncomfortable like that is the McDougal Cellar, which is just a few doors over from the Grizzly Pear, and
Mhm.
it gets worse than what you're saying. You have to get there an hour before the show starts and get in line, and you go in, you get sat like a piece of meat, like a cattle, and you got to wait around. But then you do that, and then they do things like, "Hey, your next comic is in from Brooklyn. Make some noise for Chris Rock." And there's like seven for me who's pretty jaded about comedy at this point. I get kind of excited. Like that is
Yeah,
pretty neat to
I you just get surprise celebrities. Yeah, you're just
yeah.
like, oh, okay, all right, yeah.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah,
I
it's worth
totally
it.
should.
I go about once a year and and am totally a tourist, like a customer. I there's no stand-up comedy hat on. And that's I would say the one place that is totally worth doing that. It's fun.
Yeah, I should. I don't have any trips to New York planned right now, but I definitely should give myself. No, actually, I have something coming up. I don't think I'll have time because I'm working the whole weekend.
Yeah.
We'll figure
Well,
it out.
the one nice thing about McDougal is they have like a midnight show even. So if you have a like
Mm,
a 9 or 10 p.m. show, you can probably make the midnight show. And David Tell's always on the midnight, almost always on the midnight show,
killer.
which is great. I mean, he closes it out and it's just like I've probably seen him 5 times at McDougal, and every single time it's just blown my mind. He's so sharp and quick and incredible. It's really, really
Yeah,
good.
dude's a beast.
He's awesome. Yeah, we'll talk after we stop the recording. I'll talk to you about coming out for Denver. Have you opened for a band ever? Have you ever done musical act comedy?
Yeah, not really since the internet's done its thing. I mean, there's a local like Nirvana cover band that's booked me a couple times. Nice guys. They're called
That's cool.
Nevermind. They do a great job. They just thought it'd be fun to have a comedian open up because Nirvana used to have Bobcat Goldthwait open for him. So they're like, oh, we'll just do you're Yelly, you can do it too.
Yeah.
Uh,
How does
and that's
that
been fun.
how does that work? Does like the opening band go and then you go before the headliner band, or you go before the opening act, or you go in between, or what?
No, it's just me and then them because they play for
Oh,
like 2 hours. Like they're
oh,
they're
cool.
they're playing a
I would
lot.
love that. That sounds
Yeah,
fun.
yeah, you should check them out. Well, I mean, when you're in town, I
I mean,
mean, they
I get up to Seattle about once a year. I'll check the
yeah.
calendar. When what kind of venue is it?
Oh, like a music venue. Like there's
Sure.
this place called
Like
High
a
Dive. I think it's
couple hundred
changed.
seater, couple hundred
Uh,
standing rather.
yeah, I'd say it was like a 200 cap, maybe
Okay.
something like that. And then like a spot in Tacoma is probably like about a 150, 200 cap. Yeah, somewhere in that range. But it's fun. But like a lot of the people are there just to see a Nirvana cover band, and they're like, "Who's this guy?" And I'm like, "Here's jokes about metal music," and they're like, I'm here for grunge covers, and you're like, yeah, whatever. Here's this joke about oral sex. I hope your family's not here.
Nice callback.
Thank you. I paid attention.
Well done. Okay, so you do a lot of or I'm assuming you get some like door deals or bonuses if you move tickets. You got any tricks that you've learned over the years for helping to move tickets in markets you're not regularly at?
Honestly, man, the only trick I have is to just uh, run ads on Meta at this stage. Like, but it's running ads aimed directly at the people that have already engaged with the stuff that I put on those platforms.
Okay.
So it is very
That's really,
reliant
I'm
on.
so dumb at this stuff. Is that lookalike audiences? Is that what that's called? Or is that something
No,
else?
no, this is like actual, like you engage with the people that have, like you send the ads to the people that have watched your videos up to a certain percentage. I usually do about 70%. That's one of the options. And so it means that if someone's watched one of my videos at least 70%, they're in this bucket. And
Uh,
basically, I can apply to, hey, Denver or hey, Atlanta, and put the radius of that. And then I market to them with like, a Facebook event engagement thing. And then later, maybe a direct link that might go to like Instagram on Instagram. So, but I usually do it 2 months out so that I can build interest in the Facebook event, and then you can plug stuff in there so that people see that regularly and might remind them to buy tickets. And then, a week or two out before the show, then you run the direct link ad, because I think no one's going to see an ad like 8 weeks out and just be like, I got to buy a ticket right now. But they'll be like, oh, I'm interested in that Facebook thing.
yeah. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay, so your strategy is you build interest and you get people to say they're interested in the event, and then 1 to 2 weeks out, you hit them with a ticket link, and you're
Well, you
trying to.
hit a different group with a different ad that's a similar ad, but it's targeting Instagram people. But it is all tied back to the people that have already followed me or engaged with me on these platforms.
Okay.
And
Huh.
that's not really a thing that I can be like, hey, try this. It's just like
You've figured
by
it out.
putting out, well, for now, yeah, until it changes. But also it's like I haven't been putting out clips for the last like month and a half. So it's like, I gotta be making some more.
Right. How much for a typical show that's like 3 months in the future between now and then, how much time would you say you spend on meta ads, like creating and checking on
Oh,
them, whatever?
well, I mean, I've kind of already made a lot of these assets, so they're reusable.
Okay.
So in total, if it's like 3 months out, I would probably spend like an hour and a half, 2 hours setting up the ads and then checking in and maintaining. But also, like, you need to be making like the organic content that like complements that, like the posts in there, and then also like making the reels that'll be fed to the algorithmic beast so that that just kind of organically pushes and is seen. Because you make a comedy, you make a stand clip, and at the end it says, here are all the cities, and so
Yeah.
people see that, and then will then go. So, you can see if you have like an event that's like an Eventbrite ticket link. So you get an email when something is moved. If something like pops, you can see the tickets, like the sales happen as that's happening. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's awesome. All right. We're kind of winding this down. You got a fun road story you want to share?
Oh God, off the top of my head, I do. I just can't think of it right now. The road has gotten kind of bland for me as of late.
Okay. You got a favorite place in the whole country you've eaten at related to comedy? What
Related to
kind of food do you
comedy.
like, Luke?
I like protein's good. I heard carbs
Okay,
are
like
great.
barbecue. You've been to the Midwest. You had any good barbecue?
I was just in Kansas City Friday,
There we go. Now
and
we're cooking.
I I love eating out of just a metal tray like the pig fuck I am.
Mm,
Just
nice.
slop. Sorry if this is
You
supposed to be a
mentioned
family
St.
friendly.
Louis earlier. Have you been to
Yeah,
Sweet Water? Sweet something? Sweet? No, Sweet Water's the music distributor, I think.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. They're up in Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Something sweet, sweet rib, sweet. I don't know. Next time you're in St. Louis, it's really good. Sweet Fire.
Okay,
Maybe it's Sweet
Sweet
Fire.
Fire,
Sugar Fire. I think I'm
Sugar
on it
Fire.
now. Sugar Fire. Check them out.
Okay,
Delicious. I love
okay.
barbecue on the road. That's good.
It
Like,
was really good, but I was like, I gave myself the meat sweats, which feels like what you're supposed to do.
do you eat if you go to a club and you get a free meal? Are you eating before your set or after your set?
If it's before, it's going to be something light. I hate just eating and then you're just on stage just going, oh, so much of I'm just digesting.
Digest.
All the blood is in by my intestines to get all the nutrients, and then you're just sluggish on stage. And I like to be as bouncy as I can be.
Yeah. Yeah. High energy. Luke Severeid,
Hmm.
everybody. All right. Where can folks find you, Luke?
All of the things, just LukeSevereid .com, but also that's my handle on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube. Just do a Google. It's the name right here. Easy to find. I'm the guy with this face.
Luke Severeid, everybody. And North Carolina just popped in. It is Sugar Fire. I still got the something. I haven't been in St. Louis in a while. I got to fix that. All right, Luke, stick around. I want to talk about your visit to Denver. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Come back next Monday night.